The college basketball experience, November 9th, preview and picks episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Networks presented by WynnBET. WynnBET's now live in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Tennessee, and Virginia. From boosted same-game parlays to live in-game odds, WynnBET is what you need to win. Sign up today, bet $100, get a $100 free bet over at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bet today.
Hey, this is John Sally, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Yes, yes, yes. Woo! Welcome to the college basketball experience. November 9th, preview and picks episode. My name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, a.k.a. Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I smoke and I drink and I don't have stress and I'm healthy.
I am very healthy tonight. Very, very healthy. Very excited to talk about life. There's pep in my step around the office today. But before I start talking about that, I want to welcome my co-host. Give it up for Farmer video coordinator for Frank Martin and Bob Huggins, Hall of Fame coach. No big deal. All right, give it up for host of the NFL Gambling Podcast as well, Ryan McIntyre. How you doing, Ryan?
You know, Colby, it might be election day for this country, but who needs drama in D.C. with politics when you got drama with the Hoyas and the Eagles?
Oh, man. I mean, the lone lock that I lost and just fire the alarms a little bit on old Pat Ewing there. I mean, look, they gave him another year. He found a way to get it done. And, you know, he got it done. But I mean, and by the way, if you're a Big East basketball fan, survive, move along. You didn't get any shit talked about you, but man, Providence probably should have lost tonight, man. Providence wins by 1 against the moving company that is Ryder. Bring your moving quilt. Oh, the moving quilt might have been on the floor because Ryder had a chance to win, and their guard slipped on his move. But Providence, Georgetown, they survive 2 potential upsets. Juan Dixon almost scored the upset. I knew I should have said Juan Dixon, the little brother angle. That was the one game I got wrong. Shout out to the chat. Rest easy sounds. Noah, they're rolling here. So I mean, what were you more shocked by, Providence or Georgetown?
I would probably say Georgetown, and I know Providence, they're a good program, but Providence had lost 5 starters off of an unbelievable year, and I think all of us thought Ryder was going to give them a game. Coppin State got blown out by Charlotte last night, had to travel all the way up I-95 and play tonight in Georgetown. And if you're Georgetown, this is a bit, and Pat Ewing, this is a big year for you. You need to come out and hit Coppin State right in the mouth. Instead, you're in a dogfight, and you got to go to overtime to beat the Eagles.
Yeah. And last night we gave you the moving company that is Ryder plus the points that hit, but we did take Georgetown. We ate shit there, but look, we did all right. Milwaukee went to Purdue, and I was wrong here. I mean, I didn't tell you to bet this, but we pick every game here on the college basketball experience. I had Milwaukee plus like 27, whatever that number was, 26. I don't remember. Didn't come through. Purdue looked really good, and the Boilermakers. You were on the Boilermakers. Nice win there.
Yeah, no, Boilermakers, business as usual. A lot of replacing Jaden Ivey and Trevion Williams, but I mean they keep on plugging. So we'll see how Purdue keeps progressing going into that PK Classic in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Then you had, and look, we all took South Carolina State, and I want to thank you because pre-episode you kind of swayed me on that. I was like, I don't know who I should take. South Carolina State almost won the game outright.
Yes.
South Carolina survives 80-77. That's kind of been the theme of the night here with those three, power schools all having very close calls. Did you get eyes on this game? Because this one was South Carolina, I think, scored a 2 to cut it to 1, I think, late, and then they fouled and they made some free throws, but that was pretty exciting, this game.
Yeah, no, I watched quite a bit of this game. Obviously, head coach of South Carolina State's a friend of mine, Eric Martin, former assistant for Bob Huggins. He gave a little bit of a little 2-2-1 press back to 2-3, and it bothered the Gamecocks from start to finish, but the Gamecocks in the end came out on top. But yeah, shout out to E. Martin, his debut, almost winning a bye game.
Yeah, that was a really impressive performance as you saw straight out the gate. They just showed up the whole game. I feel like that was not one of those ones where they were down 25, came back to cut it to 3. South Carolina State came to play all day. Noah in the chat said, I called that Rider upset on the Providence team preview. There we go. We have to talk about, there was a Grizzly killing today outside of Pittsburgh. And I know you locked it up, but I didn't bet it, but I know you had it. And look, this happens. We make picks on the show, but I was a bit concerned. Yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, by the way, subscribe, youtube.com/The College Experience. We're here every night. He put the L sign up for the loss there, but I was
right in the forehead.
I was a bit concerned of the travel.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh to Missoula. And I've flown into Missoula. That isn't even an airport. You just fly into a fucking runway. I feel like I'm like dealing drugs or some shit. You know what I mean? You just fly into you get off on the asphalt. You know what I mean? Like they don't bring that little, I don't know what the hell they call that thing, that hanger to pick you up and have you go through it. You're just straight out in the cold. So that's a far trip, man. I know, and shout out to Noah. I know he was on Duquesne, but I took Montana. You locked up Montana. They didn't show up today. They only had 19 points at halftime.
No, they were awful. I actually felt good going into the game because the line creeped down to about 3.5, depending on what book you got it at.
We move lines here on the College Basketball Experience, all right?
Yeah. No, I was like, hey, closing line value, there we go. And then I take a 30-point beat down. I go, well, there goes my closing line value.
Now this next one's interesting. I locked up Sacred Heart -3.5, but it seems like the whole world after our show, the line moved up to like 7 or 8. I wanted to fade the potential tragic magic that the Hartford Hawks had with their coach resigning yesterday. So I did get this one right. But it depends where you bet it and how late you bet it. But I was all over this one at 3.5. As Sacred Heart wins by 7 at Hartford. Shame on the Hartford, school. The whole fucking school deserves, that whole administration deserves shit. You know what I mean? So, but shout out to Sacred Heart, and I think this might have closed. Let me see what the closing line was on this game. 6.5. So look, you still, even if you got this late, you still covered. Boom. Let's go, baby. Then, oh man, this is why I've been jumping around here in the office, just having a good old day. I think it's time to play this song. We believe in the Pirates, in the spirit of ECU. My East Carolina Pirates. Shout out to the days of Blue Edwards, because Michael Schwartz, new coach for the Pirates. I know Noah Beanick, my brother NC Nick on this show all the time. They were heavy on Mercer, but they must not have realized that.
Because when you're at East Carolina, you go for it every time. Or you don't coach at East Carolina, you don't come to East Carolina, you don't play at East Carolina with a weak heart. Write it.
Maybe some teams with a weak heart down 17 don't say, hey, we're okay. Just keep running the offense. And boom, my East Carolina Pirates come back We both locked up East Carolina. We were getting a 1.5. They won outright, 77-75. Oh, Pirate Nation, stand up. Let's go.
Let's go.
Nice first game for first game ever as a head coach. That's you couldn't write it any better. We're down 17. We come back. Boom. Get it done.
Yeah, no, you mentioned it. Schwartz in his debut down 17, a little adversity early, but they kept fighting and they held him off. Got a little nervous there at the end with the free throws and sweating out that game, but hey, no better way to get it done than a little sweat at the end as well.
Exactly. And then you had the Coppin State Georgetown game, which we alluded to. And then we both locked up, and this was my favorite play of the night, so I hope you folks cashed in. San Jose State won by 15 against Georgia Southern. Tim Miles and the Spartans, I think, are going to be a player in the Mountain West this year. It's a far trip from Statesboro to San Jose. That was easy money. So I went 3-1 on my locks. Feel pretty good. About life right now, you know? Well, you still did all right. Because you had
2-2.
Yeah, 2-2. So 500 or better, you know, and there's going to be nights where you lose, but not tonight. Let's go.
And most importantly, double locks for us this year when we're both on the same side, 8-6. So we're in the win column on the double lock. So keep giving them out.
So tomorrow there's a lot of games, but some of them we don't have lines on. Obviously, I'm still waiting on that Philly biblical line against Norfolk State. If you can get a line on that, well then I'm impressed. All right. North American's taking on Prairie View. All these D2 schools, there's no lines there. So we're just covering the D1 games. All right. So let's hop into it. 4:00 on the West, 7:00 on the East. Got to be honest, I was a bit surprised at this line because I do think there's an advantage to playing a game as opposed to not playing a game. I know you could say, well, the film is out there on your offense, on your defense, and UT Martin's catching 8.5 at Youngstown State, the home of the Penguins. What am I missing about this line? This line's way too off, and I will start things off with a lock of UT Martin plus 8.5. I get it. UT Martin got their shit. You got absolutely destroyed by Pitt, and Youngstown State beat Canisius. 8.5. Ohio Valley's they're preseason number 1.
Yep.
I'm taking the points. I'm locking it. What's
I'm locking. Yeah, I'm locking the Skyhawks too. And I love teams.
Yeah, sorry.
No, I said I love taking teams that are on the second leg of the road trip when they got drilled in game number 1. Fix it in the hotel. You're away from the distractions of campus. So I'm with you. I think they bounce back here, and this is a ball game right down to the stretch. The Penguins are good, though.
Yeah. I mean, the Penguins looked all right the other night, but at the same time, I don't know. And I guess you do have the advantage of both these teams playing games already.
Yeah.
So there is that. I'll take the 8.5. I'll ride that plus 330 money line. I think you play the money line too. Plus 330 money line.
Yeah, no doubt.
At that same time, we have the University of America, the Eagles in Washington, D.C. They're traveling to Marist to take on the Red Foxes. Ooh, this line, I am seeing this one at Marist minus 2.5. This is an intriguing game to me because, well, first off, I should have you know, folks, that Marist lost a season ago to American 77-73 on November 9th, just about a year ago. American returns a ton of production, led by their guard Colin Smalls. And meanwhile, Marist is bringing in 4 transfers that are projected to start for them on the starting lineup. The question to me is, how fast can you get those guys playing in unison? And to me, that tells me enough on why I want to take American. And I do think we should continue to ride the money line here with the play of plus 120 on the Eagles. Though I sound crazy here.
No, I'm taking American as well. I'm not going to lock this one. I feel better about that UT Martin angle that we got.
I'm not locking this one, but I do think, like, if you're going to bet, you know, you might want to just take the money line.
Yes.
I'm picking it on the money line on our tally site picks, but overall, I'm only betting. When you hear the music, you know we're betting it. All right, those are called locks. UT Martin is a lock. American is not. But yeah, glad to see we think alike here with the Eagles. Next up, we have Hampton taking on James Madison, Patty C's boys. James Madison's 1-0, and I don't know if you caught their nice classic annual rivalry game against Valley Forge. Valley Forge scored 38 points the entire game. James Madison scored 123. This was almost a 100-point deficit, folks. The line is kind of crazy because, look, I mean, Hampton, JMU, they're interesting because JMU leaves the CAA, goes to the Sun Belt. Meanwhile, Hampton leaves the Big South to go to the CAA. They haven't played since 2013 besides them both, which is shocking because they're both kind of, in Virginia. JMU did win that matchup by 6 back in 2013. Bit surprised. The line's at 17 points for Hampton. I'm kind of I'm thinking about locking this one. I think I am going to bet this because here's my logic. You have the little brother angle.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also have the fact that I think when you beat a team by 100 points, you kind of feel so good about yourself. You might be overvaluing yourself, and then all of a sudden Hampton comes in. Hampton's got a senior-ridden backcourt with Deuce Dean and Marquise Godwin. They also got Jordan Nesbitt, a transfer from St. Louis. 17's a bit high for me. I'm going to lock up the Pirates, even though I know this place might get lit for this one because of it was not lit for the bridge, whatever Valley Bridge game or whatever the fuck that was. But this one, I do think the fans might show out, might make it a little hard to play. But 17 is just a little too much for me. Give me the Pirates plus the points. What are you doing here?
Yeah, no, I'm taking Hampton as well. I'm not going to lock it just because I haven't seen Hampton play. But I'm with you. Too many points here. And JMU just beat that team that Patty C was playing point guard for by 100.
Yeah. I mean, that was pretty bad, man. Next up, we go to this is another one. I mean, I do like the slate, so you're going to hear me lock up a few things, people. Davidson heads to Wright State. Now, look, Bob McKillop, legendary coach at Davidson, was there, I feel like, since like the fucking I mean, I don't know, since JFK assassination, perhaps. He stepped down. He saw if I had to guess, I think he saw the transfer portal and the NIL and said, you know what, I'm out of here. Let me go. I'm like 70. I don't want to coach on every day of my life. All right. I want to go have a pina colada, sit on the beach. But he said, hey, son, assistant coach who's been here a while, here are the keys to the Corvette. And boom. So they stay in the family. His son had been an assistant there for, I feel like, a very long time. So I don't know that they're really losing much. They're laying 3.5. Now, okay, I see some angles where you could say, Wright State. I mean, this is a strange out-of-conference game, I feel like. They don't play that often. But then when you factor in that Wright State keeps a decent program, they're not a bad team. I feel like every year you see Wright State playing decent. Scott Nagy, I believe, is their coach. They return some key players, too. Trey Calvin is back at the guard, and they have 4 guys who played major minutes for them a season ago. They also brought in Amari Davis, a transfer from Green Bay. And yeah, I can see that the logic on saying, hey, Wright State's going to be able to give them a game. But Davidson, okay, they lose 3 guys who average double digits. True. And that's always concerning. But they also brought in Connor Kuchera from William & Mary. He was good at William & Mary in the CAA. Davidson knows how to add transfers. They barely add a transfer. And when they do, it's always a home run, I feel like. Just like Foster Lawyer, who's still there, the Michigan State kid, who transferred in just a year ago and had a great season last year. They still return enough. And I believe in the culture that the McKillops have built in Charlotte. So, or wherever Davidson is, right outside of Charlotte. This game's at Wright State. Not a problem for me. Not a problem. And that is why I am going to lock up Davidson minus 3.5. The A-10 plays good ball. I get it. Wright State's solid. But A-10's on a different level, even though I know Loyola almost lost last night, but they're new to the A-10. That's different. What are you doing here?
Yeah, no, I'm going to lock up Davidson too. This is a culture game, just like Villanova and Duke the other night. Culture game. Give me the Wildcats.
There we go.
And I'll lock it up. Yep.
Double lock. Davidson minus 3.5 at Wright State. Blue light special. Shout out to Brandon Grover in the chat. He goes, love the show, guys. There we go. Appreciate
we love you.
tuning in. Yeah, exactly. Appreciate you tuning in. All right, so now we move along in the slate. IUPUI heads to Drake, which is located in Iowa. Oh man, I know you took a shot on IUPUI against Iowa State. I warned you that I almost played for them last year, and that's an issue. They lost by 49, and they only scored 39 points. Now, Iowa State's a great defensive team. I know you know that. Your days in the Big 12. But short of Jalen Counter, who scored 16 points for IUPUI. So the rest of the team scored 23 points. Now, Drake, Darian DeVries is back. I always butcher that guy's name. They returned 4 starters from a year ago. They also landed Sardoon Calhoun, the transfer from Texas Tech. I mean, this line's insane, but I think we should consider being insane because I am seeing IUPUI catching 28.5. The advantage is they played a game.
Yeah.
Do we take the 28.5? Talk me into why I should not lay the points here.
I think only because they've played a game, but I don't know, man. They suck, like you said. Like they lost by 49 the other night, and they had walk-on tryouts. So yeah, I'm going to take the points though. So I just said,
points too. Yeah. I think I'm going to take the points too. It's just so much. Yeah. But Drake, I feel like is a veteran team that could really be a team we see in the NCAA tournament this year. But I got to take the points. I got to take the points.
Yeah, Drake's going to win by 27.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Definitely not locking that. If you lock that, if you bet this game, I love you, but you're fucking insane. All right.
No, are you locking this?
Is he?
Yeah, he is.
He's locking Drake. Oh man. There you go. Yeah. I mean, you're a better man than I. You are a better man than I. Next up, as we have just a short little slate. Friday is an absolute fire day. This is a nice little appetizer too. Today and tomorrow, appetizers for Friday. UMKC, the Kangaroos. It's not just a gas station. Turns out it's a fucking team. All right. They're catching 22 points, 22.5, actually. That half might be critical as they head to Baton Rouge, where Matt McMahon, no pressure on your first game, knowing that LSU football just beat Alabama. No one will probably be paying attention to this. But Matt McMahon, he comes in from Murray State, brings half his team. It's a talented team. So, we've seen some of these coaches struggle opening night as far as covering the spread. I think I'm going to lay the points. I think LSU is going to cruise to a victory. Kangaroos, I'm laying the 22.5 with LSU. What are you doing here?
UMKC is also coming off a loss to Lincoln, Missouri the other night. So
that's right. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna lay the points 22.5 as well. So.
Can I look? I haven't bet this, but there's this one that I will say is a fringe lock, because what I find interesting is that he's bringing in a slew of players from Murray State, so they are familiar with his offense. So it's not like a lot of these players are picking up his offense and his defense. I feel like that can go a long way. Fringe lock, but I'm not doing it. If that makes sense. Are you locking this?
Yeah, I'm gonna lock it up now that I'm rethinking about this. Bringing over Williams and his guys from Murray State, I'm gonna lock up LSU here.
There you go. He is locking it up.
Go Tigers!
Follow the picks page. All of our picks are there: college football, college basketball, whatever sport. But get the SGPN app. It's free to download in the App Store and Google Play Store. And just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com. You'll see all of our picks, because this might be a lock for me by the time the game tips. So keep an eye out on that. Fringe lock potential here. Lipscomb. That's a real university, folks. Lipscomb. Shout out to them. They are heading to South Dakota, where the Coyotes, I faded them game 1, and I won my bet on Wisconsin -12 in Madison against South Dakota. But once again, South Dakota has the advantage of playing a game. And they were a little chippier in the first half than I anticipated. Lipscomb is hitting the road. It's kind of a far trip. I think Lipscomb, where's that? Tennessee, I believe.
Nashville, yep.
Yeah. This is one, I got to be honest. I hesitated on this one. My first reaction was I'm going to take Lipscomb here. And then I thought, wait a second. South Dakota they played a game. They showed some signs of life early in that game, showed some fight that I thought I was not expecting. And then I feel like, knowing that, Lipscomb's team, by the way, another thing that's interesting though, that might make me sway me back is that they have their forwards or forward and center are 2 6-year players. These guys are like the age of fucking Bill Laimbeer playing center right now. I'm talking about Hassan Asadullah and Matt Schnurr. Any relation to Steve Schnurr? I don't know if you Northwestern fans will get that, but they do have a ton of returning production. So it makes for an interesting matchup, one that I'm probably going to put on God's Eye here at the SGPN studios. I at the end of the day, I just decided I'm going to take the Coyotes. They're at home. They bounce back. They get the dub. They were a winning team a year ago. What are you doing here?
I love this one. I'm locking up South Dakota and the Coyotes. Bounce back spot.
I like it.
They looked all right the other night.
They did. They did look all right. You're trying to sway me, man. You're trying to sway me.
Coyotes.
I might hop on that. I don't know. Then we have, I thought this would be one of the better games, but the more I think about it, the more I think I cannot feel too great about it. Monmouth, King Rice's squad. Remember King Rice, the former North Carolina Tar Heel guard back in the day. Does a great job with this Monmouth program. They head to Seton Hall to take on Shaheen Holloway's new but old stop essentially. Seton Hall is a 19-point favorite. 19 fucking points, man. But I got to be honest, I had to do a deep dive because this is the season opener for both these teams. I had to do a deep dive on this one because I am a bit. So I was like about to lock up Monmouth. I was about to say, I'm going to bet the hell out of Monmouth. But Monmouth lost 3 guys who averaged double digits a season ago. They're super inexperienced. They're bringing in 4 freshmen. They have only 3 guys on this roster that have played more than 10 minutes a game last season. And meanwhile, Seton Hall returns Kadaric Richmond and Tyrese Samuel. They also went out and got Alamir Dawes from Clemson. They got Katie and Defo from St. Peter's. They added Dre Davis. I'm talking myself into switching and laying the points with Seton Hall. What are you doing here?
I'm going to take the points. I think 19's too much for Shaheen Holloway in his debut. And like you said, this is another little brother, big brother game. So I'll take the points.
I was doing that, man. I was really doing that, but I think I can't do it right now because there's no experience on this team. Yes, you get the little brother angle. I don't know. I was back and forth on that one. Then you have the best game of the night. If you're watching on YouTube, you see this graphic here. That's threw up the Boise State Broncos there. I think this is the best game of the day. South Dakota State, fresh off of a overtime loss to Akron in Akron. Now they hit the road to go to Boise. Those places are not close.
No.
But shout out to them. This is an awesome game. I'm super excited to watch this game. Boise State was really good last year. Ran into Penny Hardaway in Memphis, which is a terrible draw for a mid-major, knowing how talented Memphis was a season ago. Now, Boise State, though, they did lose Abu Kigab or whatever his name is, Kajab, and Emmanuel Acott, who obviously transferred to Western Kentucky. That was a huge get in the offseason. But they returned Marcus Shaver Jr., who hit a ton of huge shots from them a season ago. They returned Matt Rice, and they also have, I like to pronounce this guy's name wrong on purpose. They have Tyson Degenhart, who's entering a sophomore year. I know it's Degenhart or whatever, but It's D-Gen Hart. All right, come on. We're D-Gens here. We're going to say that like that. They also added Texas Tech transfer Chibuzo Agbo, who I think will be a substantial get for them. Now, at the same time, South Dakota State, like I said, they've got one game under their belt. Matt Dentlinger had a huge game. William Kyle, both forwards for them, had big games against Akron. I think the story of why they lost to the Zips, where they were 4 of 15 for 3. This team is normally a great shooting team. They were number 1 in the nation last year out of all 360 teams at shooting and scoring. They went 4 for 15 from 3. There's no way they do that again. And that is why I am going to take the points here, and I am going to lock up the Jackrabbits plus the points. I think they're going to give them a game. I think it's going to be a game. I wouldn't be surprised. And once again, I wouldn't be surprised if they won this outright. Plus 206 on the money line right now. I think you dabble a little bit. Maybe a little parlay action of them and who was our other dog that we had? Them and
UT Martin.
Yeah, them and UT Martin. Not a bad angle, not a crazy angle. What do you think?
No, not at all. I'm locking up the Jackrabbits too. I think this is going to be a ball game like the Akron game, and sprinkle some on that money line, like Colby said. Plus 206, no doubt.
Yeah. Then we only have 2 more games left, and both of them are fucking intriguing, man. Bellarmine, which I pronounced this incorrectly, right? It's Bellarmine. Right?
Yeah, Bellarmine. Yep. Out of Louisville.
They're just. Why would they do that to us? Bellarmine. The Knights are heading, out of Louisville. They're heading to Louisville. Folks, if you did not know, Kenny Payne, brand new coach at Louisville, obviously had ties to Kentucky. They lost to a D2 school not long ago in exhibitions. Bellarmine, they were pretty fucking good last year. They're catching 12.5 plus 607 on the money line in Louisville. I'm taking the points. Should we lock it? I feel like we should lock this.
Yes. Lock this up.
Yes.
Bellarmine, baby.
Let's go there. Sprinkle some on the money line. Why not? I don't think this will happen because it's his first official game, but I'm saying like crazier things have happened. Definitely take the 12.5. What am I missing?
No, this is a Super Bowl for Bellarmine. They're out of Louisville as well, so this coming down to the wire.
Oh, I can't wait. I cannot wait to watch this one. And the locks, as I'm saying, I love this slate, man. I really do love this slate.
You got a lot of live dogs, I think.
Well, I got another one right here because I scratched my head at this. Florida Gulf Coast just beat USC and dominated the whole game. They're heading down to San Diego to take on Steve Lavin and the Toreros. Steve Lavin, shout out to him. He's been on the show before. Wishing him the best of luck with the Toreros. But what the hell am I missing here? I get it. He's bringing in he has a bunch of good recruits, good transfers that are coming in. But Florida Gulf Coast just gave us a sample of them being very, very legit. I'm taking the 6 points. I'm sprinkling some on the money line. Give me the Eagles and Florida Gulf Coast. What am I missing here? What are you doing here?
The only thing that concerns me is they're coming off that big Pac-12 win, and maybe they get a little complacent going to San Diego. But I'm with you. I'm taking the points. I think these are 2 evenly matched teams at the very worst. So, I'm going to take the 6.5 and ride the money line as well.
I mean, Pat Chambers instantly comes into FGC and makes them good. Dunk City's back. Lock this thing up, man.
Yeah.
These games are awesome.
Lock it up.
I love the whole board. I'm going to bet everything, I feel like. Wow.
I think this line goes down and down and down towards tip-off.
It's got to. It just really has to. Now we have an interesting matchup. Florida A&M out of the SWAC. They are 0-1 as Oregon beat them by 35. Nothing to be ashamed of there. That's that's a nice little regional matchup right there, right? They are now in Portland taking on the Pilots. Now this is interesting because Portland whooped up on Lewis and Clark University. They discovered an ass whooping. And then now they're hosting A&M. And they did play a season ago, and believe it or not, it was actually a close game. I believe Portland won by 6. Oh, I'm sorry, that wasn't last year. That was 3 years ago. So Anyway, this line is pretty substantial here. The Pilots are laying 22. That's a lot of points, man. Give me the Rattlers plus 22 points against the Portland will get the win, and I think Portland's going to be better this year, better than people think. But 22 is a gigantic number. Give me Famu. What are you doing here?
I'm going to lay the points. I don't love it, but I mean, I've seen this with these MEAC and SWAC schools where they got to just keep going on the road at one after another. And next thing you know, they're like 0-12 headed into league play because of their non-conference schedule. So I'm going to lay the points with Portland.
And Shante Leggins is second year there. I think he can, he's definitely doing good things with this program with the Pilots of Portland, but I think they win by 20. Call off the dogs a little bit.
Could happen.
All right, so that's our slate. Just to rattle off once again, my locks, I am locking up Florida Gulf Coast plus 6. I am locking up Bellarmine plus 12.5. I am locking up South Dakota State plus 6. I am locking up Davidson minus 3.5, and I am locking up UT Martin plus 8.5. And I'm tempted to. No, you know what? And I'm locking up Hampton plus 17 at JMU. Folks, I actually would not mind a parlay, like, just to help you out a little bit here. I think you take a shot. There's a lot of live dogs, I think, tomorrow. I really believe there's a lot of possible live dogs tomorrow. Why not take a shot on Florida Gulf Coast plus 210? Like, you could do a round robin. How about that? You could do a round robin of Florida Gulf Coast plus 210, South Dakota State plus 206, and what was the third one that we liked?
UT Martin.
Yeah, UT Martin plus 328.
40-1.
I love it.
Yes.
Folks, hop in now. Ryan, what are your locks?
Real quick, I got UT Martin plus 8.5, sprinkled some on the money line. Davidson minus 3.5, LSU minus 22.5, South Dakota minus 5.5, South Dakota State plus 6, Bellarmine plus 12.5, Florida Gulf Coast plus 6, and I'm with you. I'm going to ride that 40-1 Gulf Coast, South Dakota State, UT Martin round robin.
Round robin. I mean, or folks, if you just want to parlay 2 of the 3, or if you parlay each of them, I don't know. I mean, I just feel like you ride the round robin because one is liable to get bit. But I really like that angle. And and remember, folks, follow the picks page because I might add a late lock of those Kangaroos losing to LSU. Something to monitor. I'm going to monitor that line. Folks, remember, we're here every single night of the college basketball season. So please, if you can, hop on over to iTunes, give us a 5-star review. We put a lot of work into this thing. It always means a lot from sponsors when they can see the positive reviews. They want to make sure, hey, we're not giving these idiots this money without some positive reviews. All right, so hop on over there, the College Basketball Experience. Remember, folks, we're also on YouTube, youtube.com/the College Experience. Also, give us a follow on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. You can give me a follow on Twitter at the Colby D, and Ryan's on Twitter at Moneyline_Mac. Check out all of his work. The Ryan and Rush show is one show he does, or one podcast he does. He also does the NFL gambling podcast. And check out the whole everything we do. College football experience. We talk college football year round over there on that podcast. We talk college basketball year round over here. We come together as one on YouTube, youtube.com/the College Experience. Check out the Sports Gambling Podcast. Check out all the other platforms. Come talk college hoops with us. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. A lot of fun talking in there. And I cannot wait for tomorrow's action because small slate, but some of those games are chippy. All right, folks, this is the College Basketball Experience. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
Yeah, I got my I got my fit, y'all. Ready to go, y'all. Yeah, come on and let me capitalize. Don't you know about the mammal's actual size? Gotta make it love rap again cause it's wide. I'm everywhere, access never denied. Bold style like the 70s ride. Many people come to see the melody guy. I sell a lifestyle like you selling these fries. First arrive, I grab the burgers and fries. An early bird get the worm, the late ones too. But you original or true, sky's the limit, my dude. Never lose sleep over who's doing the do. There's room for it all, ask the tip to the queue. When I'm a midnight marauder type of mic manipulator. Every day's an opportunity to place a wager. I've never been a cage, I'm unhinged. Binge on a pursuit, go out on a limb. I'm never going out though, cause I'm in full effect, like I'm fully erect and going into it. Seeing I'm catching the wreck. I do my work, you dispatching a check like that, y'all. Like this, y'all. Like that, y'all. Like this, y'all. Here we go.